We just had the Performance Evaluation Cup in EU, and the teams that did well weren't the ones that people expected. I'm going to talk about that in this video, as well as all the new team changes. Let's get straight into it. So before we get into the Eval Cup, if you're wondering why the gameplay on screen is from Chapter 2, that's because it's from Benji Fishy, and Benji Fishy came back to play some Fortnite today. He played some Reload on stream, as well as some creative with clicks. It's always nice to see him come back to the game. He's one of my favourite players ever. I'd love to see him involved in the next Pro-Am next year, although I know that might not be possible because of his contract with Riot Games. But yeah, good to see Benji playing the game, even if it is only just for a day.
If we ran do FNCS, we might be beating Peter.
So let's get into the Eval Cup. Unfortunately, it was a little bit of a flat finals. Don't get me wrong, it was still fun, but we did have a lot of big teams miss out. There were definitely a lot of up-and-coming pros in the lobby, and we saw some great performances. Game 1 was won by Malibuka and Panzer, who've been looking better and better as a duo. Started out a little bit shaky, but they seem to be getting a lot more consistent. Game 2 was won by the Finnish duo of Yule and Maruz, and then games 3 and 4 were won by two up-and-coming Swedish teams. Game 3 was won by Druxies and Sadie, and Game 4 was won by Jux and Jix. Hopefully I'm saying those names right. So credit to those 4 teams for getting a win. One team that unfortunately couldn't get a victory royale was Cami and Hari. They did manage to come 2nd, 3rd and 4th, so some great consistency, but they couldn't convert that into a win. And a special shout out to Shark. As you can see from this tweet by Kinch, he's the only player to have made all 5 Eval finals on EU this season. If we take a look at the elimination stats from the 4 games, you can see that there's a clear leader. Vico in 1st place with 7 eliminations above Euler in 2nd, proving why he's one of the most explosive fighters on EU. Shout out to Fishy X in 3rd as well, been doing great in the solo series, nice to see him doing well in duos as well. And Mr. Savage fans can be happy seeing him in 7th place with 10 eliminations, not too bad. I want to talk about all the new teams on EU, but before then, let's talk about which EU teams made it to the NA Central Eval Cup finals. We had a few European players make it on NA Central. Unfortunately, none of them could win a game, but qualifying for the top 50 still an impressive achievement. We had Repairs and Glitty qualify. We also had the French duo of Zayko and Nosif making it. Craig and Kenty also qualified, although Kenty is in Dallas, so he was on 0 ping. Moneymaker and Rezex both made it too. 2 names that I've seen a lot in the leaderboards this season. They're both doing quite well at the moment. And lastly, Dexy qualified with Diego Plays, who obviously is an NA player. So now let's get into all the team changes, and we'll start off with Queasy. He played the Eval Cup with Haris. It's not clear whether he's fully split with Thomas HD or not. We're going to have to wait and see on that one. I don't think Queasy and Haris is going to be a real duo either, because Queasy is leaving for NA this week. If you don't know, he's going to be there for a few weeks, and Curly will be his duo while he's out there. Curly, obviously a very good NA Central player, hasn't been able to find a teammate because of school commitments, so him and Queasy makes quite a lot of sense. But in terms of when Queasy gets back to EU, it's kind of anyone's guess as to who he's going to play with. I think Thomas is still the most likely option. Unless Tayson and Murstache split before then, in which case I think we could see Queasy Murstache as a possible duo. We've also seen the split of 2 UK duos. Pink and Velo are no longer playing together. Pink tried out with Zarbi in the Eval Cup, whilst Velo is playing with King Cringe. Nathan and CZB have also split. Nathan trying out with Axforce, who he played with during trios, whilst CZB is playing with Khan, the German player. Snazy played the Eval Cup with Leo the Crack. This won't be a real duo though, it was just for content. We also saw Uppel trying out with Halekis. As we know, Uppel's been looking for a teammate for a while now. He was playing unofficially with Taysom while Moustache was taking a break. Now Uppel is trying with Halekis, although they didn't do too well this week, so I'm not sure we can expect to see them together again. Yapko and Pix also split this week. We saw Yapko playing the Eval Cup with Rise, who is obviously an NA Central player, so I don't think this is going to be a real duo unless Yapko does go back to America. Meanwhile, Pix played the Eval Cup with Demus, although I don't think this is going to be a real duo because Demus have been doing well with Seti. They're qualified for the Divisional Cup finals this Saturday. So in terms of Yapko and Pix's duo, we don't really know who they're going to be playing with. So here's the map for the EU Divisional Cup finals tomorrow. I'm not going to do any predictions now. I'll do that tomorrow over on my Twitter. I do them for every set lobby final if you want to get involved with that. There's been a couple of changes since yesterday. Vico and iDrop are uncontested at Canyon Crossing, although I don't know how long that's going to stay for, considering the mountain to the north of them now has a lot more loot. With resistance base being removed, we can also see that Chap and Flixie have moved spots. They're now landing at Viney shafts in all events, and they'll be contested by Cringe and Volko in these finals. Now obviously the competitive meta has changed a lot in the past few days. I talked about that at length in my video yesterday, so if you want to know more about it, then go back and watch that. What I didn't mention in that video is that the exotic weapons have all been unvaulted, so we can expect to see the top players hitting clips clips of the exotic pump shotgun in finals. So looking ahead, we've got the Divisional Cup finals this Saturday, and I'll be making a video about that to come out on Sunday. Now I want to know what you guys think. Comment your thoughts on the Eval Cup, which teams impressed you, which teams do you want to see a little bit more from. I want to know what you guys think. Thank you very much for watching the video, see you in the next one.